Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I see you over there in the clubhouse space. I see you. I see you right here on YouTube. I see you, family. Y'all know what time it is. It is time, y'all, for Keeping Up with Congress. It is Wednesday, August 4th, y'all. We are moving into this year so rapidly. Every day is a blessing. If you are following me right here on YouTube, family, hit that subscribe button, hit that like, hit the notification, and share. You know, I come to you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 o'clock p.m. to 5:30 right here on YouTube. And then I bring it over to the clubhouse space from 5:30 until the top of the hour. And we chop it up over there. But I have been busy today. Today I woke up, y'all. I intentionally did not watch the election results out of Ohio last night. I remembered, I knew it. I woke up yesterday morning with Nina Turner on my mind, on my heart, because I wanted to see a progressive, something different from the establishment make its way into the halls of Congress. I felt so heavy yesterday morning for her. So today, of course, we now know that she did not prevail and she did not make it in the race to the United States Congress, to the U.S. House in the state of Ohio. And it's so disheartening, y'all. It's disheartening because the establishment is winning. And it was a narrow victory. I want to say it's like about 4,000 some odd votes. I did kind of take a peek over there to see how far off was she, but it was a narrow victory. So I know that none of us can get weary in well doing. We just have to stay in the fight. Nina Turner's been around for a long time, and I was just hopeful to see a progressive, of someone with an agenda that just was, all encompassing, something that would benefit more Americans. I wanted to see somebody make it in the Congress. So like I said, I woke up to her this morning and says the establishment prevails as Brown beats Turner in Ohio's special election. And it's amazing. I actually watched on Monday morning. She had a breakfast and I watched to see, what she was, she was talking and she was on a high, and I know she felt like this was, could truly be a victory. She could take it. And I felt her energy and I was hopeful, like I say, to see Nina Turner prevail, but she did not. Let me make my screen a little larger here for those of you that are watching me on YouTube. So yeah, last night she didn't. So I'm feeling away because, like I say, just from a progressive, we just need something. We need more. We need a harder push in Congress, and the establishment they're just not going to do it. It says a council member and the Democratic Party chair in Cuyahoga County, is a protege of the former incumbent Marcia Fudge, who vacated the seat to serve as Biden's housing secretary. It says among her boosters were Hillary Clinton, who thralled Sanders for the 2016 presidential nomination, and then Jewish Democrats wary of Turner's comments on Israel, and the leaders of the Congressional Black Caucus, including Majority Whip Jim Clyburn, y'all, Democrat out of South Carolina. We know who he is, and Chair Joyce Beatty, Democrat out of Ohio. They were pushing. Says Turner was a staple on cable TV and did not hold back her distaste of Clinton and Biden and the Democratic Party's leaders, that left behind a trove of footage that her detractors used to cut ads. So it shows us how cutthroat this game is, y'all. I'm sure they didn't miss a beat. Hey family, I see you over there on YouTube. They didn't miss a beat, y'all. They say to chip away at Turner's early momentum, Brown allies bombarded the airways with ads dragging up unfavorable Turner comments about the Democratic Party. Some spots included a now notorious interview Turner gave comparing voting for Joe Biden to eating excrement. The Democratic Majority for Israel Super PAC was the main spender, dropping nearly $1 million on TV to boost Brown. So y'all, it just shows that you gotta be able to compete. And I think even in this race, because Nina had some money, even in a race as high profile as this race was, and as fueled as both of their fires were, it just shows that the mindset, the loyalty to party politics is still in play in 2021. It shows that, I think about, it took us the 1865 to 1964 to get civil rights, almost 100 years of work that we had to keep pounding away. People, honestly, y'all, and I say this respectfully, but a lot of people had to pass on for us to get to the other side, and to be on the other side of history. And that's what I'm seeing with a lot of how politics is today. We're still chipping away. So I was really kind of, like I said, I felt heavy for her, because I just wanted to see a progressive make it. So this was a very interesting article in politico.com about the race. There was one comment that I wanted to share with you. There it is. It says, this is from Mike Oles. He's the national field director with Our Revolution. He says, our progressive issues and our progressive movement is strong in people's hearts. That doesn't always translate to the ballot. Goes on to say, organizers, we got to figure out how to beat the establishment in big cities. And honestly, I think that how we beat the establishment as progressives, those of us who are progressive candidates, we have to have a unifying voice. And when you see progressives, that are all, this is all white, that's not going to be enough. So I have reached out to Mike Oles. Prayerfully, he'll reach back, because I think that there is, an opportunity in the progressive movement to engage those of us who are Black and brown, because their movement is just, honestly, it is too white. So, and one final thing in this article, then we'll move on, is that it says, but in a final sign of the nasty turn of the race, it says Brown's staff said that Turner had not yet called to congratulate her. Oh, if Nina don't want to congratulate her, I ain't mad at her. That's politics. You don't have to say what you don't mean. And Nina's the type of person, she means what she says. So I don't think that she didn't want to call. She didn't want to call. So yeah, this is where we are, y'all. Let's move on to the next issue. So I did find us some reparations news. I thought this was a good article, y'all. So put your seatbelt on with this one. This person here. It's always good to know how others are thinking. What are they thinking about reparations? So I found this article, and I couldn't wait to share this one with you. It says a reparations plan designed to help the activist left, not minorities. So I'm like, how is reparations designed to help the activist left and not minorities? Let me see what this is all about. So this is Providence, Rhode Island. So this article said it used to be referred, and I highlighted this red because this is something that I think I want to kind of dive into more for those of you that are, you're entrenched in history. I want to know more about this particular paragraph. Let me read it to you. It said it used to be referred to as the soft bigotry of low expectations, the unspoken bias among many liberals who subconsciously believe that minority populations are not capable of succeeding on their own. For these liberals, this belief made it understandable and therefore socially acceptable for people of color to underachieve. The long-held bias was also their undeclared motivation for massive government intervention programs. So liberals, in this person's opinion, is, you know, they think of us as low expectation, and we're not capable of succeeding on our own. So hence why we have these liberals who want to give us social programs. So I that's something I think I want to dive into at some point. Like, I want to understand. So is those are the liberals that King was talking about? Like, what is this mindset that they don't believe that we can take care of ourselves? Is this true? I just thought that was interesting, and I want to know more. Like, what is that mindset about the liberals? What is he unveiling in this article that many of us don't quite know? What is he telling? It's like he's telling on them. Goes on to say, however, in recent months, this unspoken belief and its inherent and systemic prejudices has been exposed for everyone to see. It is now obvious that it supported a system designed to finance the left's larger agenda. So again, this is in Providence, Rhode Island. It says earlier this month, George Elorza, the mayor of Providence, the capital of Rhode Island, took a concrete first step to implement a municipal reparations program, a ridiculous idea many thought would never come to pass. So he's calling this reparations ridiculous. Okay, a ridiculous idea in Providence, Rhode Island. Okay, he says, not only is this policy of quote unquote reconciliation biased in and of itself, it presupposes that minorities require a government handout in order to reach equity with whites, but it also appears that the program's implementation will follow the left's playbook of funneling funds to institutions already aligned with it. So we've talked about this with these mayors in these cities and funneling resources that's quote unquote called reparations, but they're being funneled through the cities. And we saw that example with Town. If you haven't, go back and look on my YouTube channel right here. Go back and look at Town and what they did with the monies that should have gone to that community, but it went to the city. And this is a good example of the funneling that they're talking about, that he's talking about in this article. It says whether it's global warming, whether it's global warming cap and trade fees, Obamacare, navigators, COVID-19 relief funds, or now reparations payments, taxpayer money spent on the left's equity programs always seem to end up in the hands of those advocacy or academic institutions that would reinforce or advance left-wing hegemony. It says in this case, Providence awarded $100,000 in grants to the private Roger Williams University in Bristol, Rhode Island, to design and oversee the eventual program. So there's some truth to this, y'all. This is truth. There's nothing you could say. You know, they are taking those monies and now they've awarded here in Rhode Island $100,000 in grants to this university to oversee this program. There's some money. It says for many years, the Roger Williams University has bought into the woke agenda. It is the ideal politically correct partner for a social equity program such as reparations. With more government money likely to follow, more RWU students are almost certain to be brainwashed by well-funded professors. So he goes on to say, the left has worked hard to convince us that historical white supremacists are to blame for the general substandard quality of life in minority communities, and that reparations payments are one way to heal such communities of the wicked legacy of our nation's evil past. It says, however, the reality is that it's woke Americans, white liberals, and leaders who claim unjustly to speak on behalf of entire minority groups, from former President Lyndon Johnson to Mayor George Elorza, who are the true root of the problem. It says the only kernel of truth to Elorza's justification for his reparations scheme, that's what he's calling the initiative for reparations in Rhode Island, is a reparations scheme, is that minority populations in Providence are disadvantaged in one significant way. the lack of meaningful K through 12 educational opportunities. It says for decades, with over 90% of students coming from minority families, it was well known that Providence public schools have been a miserable failure. So he's critical of the schools, and that's his where he's standing on. He says conservatives do believe, however, that empowering underprivileged families is a worthwhile goal, and the best thing that can be done for minority families in Providence is to enable their children to escape the city's horrid municipal public schools, not as compensation for the sins of the distant past, but rather to circumvent the more contemporary progressive left policies of low expectations. These are policies that keep disadvantaged children trapped in government-run schools, suppressing entire populations and leading to multi-generational poverty. Y'all, he's saying educational freedom, an idea that would allow public funds to follow the student to the school of their family's choice, private, home, or public, would provide significant and lifelong benefits to underprivileged youth, as opposed to the minimal and ephemeral effect of government handouts. It says the far superior alternative to reparations payment is private school choice. Y'all, let me read that sentence again. The far superior alternative to reparations payments is private school choice. I tell you, it's good to know how these people are thinking. Says this kind of educational freedom costs nothing, as existing educational funds can be easily repurposed to follow students, and it will provide for longer lasting prosperity than any temporary cash handout. It will provide for, he says it will provide for longer lasting prosperity than any temporary cash handout. Lord. But this kind of educational choice policy would not enrich left-wing advocacy groups. Instead, it would directly empower parents, exclamation point, y'all. Says, so the left sees no benefit in this proven solution, preferring to resort to a gimmick such as reparations. He called reparations a gimmick, y'all. Oh, says the left is desperately trying to perpetuate false race wars so that it can covertly fund its socialist agenda via fake reform programs such as reparations. But its cover has been blown. To see the real systemic racism that they claim needs to be dismantled, all liberals have to do is look in the mirror. Oh, Lordy. I just thought I'd read that to y'all. You know, it's always good to hear what people think on the other side of this conversation of reparations, y'all. I don't even know where to start with this person. Mike Steinhaus is the CEO of RI Center for Freedom and Prosperity and a former MLB baseball player. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. Let's dive into some of these bills. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. If you haven't been to the website, please do go to the site. We got a race to the United States Senate to win. We can do it, y'all. We can definitely do it. We just got to stay the course, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how lonely it is. We just got to stay the course, y'all. Stay the course. So let's dive in. We got a few more minutes before the half hour. Let's see if we can get at least half of these bills done. So this is HR 936. HR 936 is the COVID-19 Delivery Act. This is Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, y'all. I don't see a whole lot of bills from her, but this is one of the first ones that we've come across. Sheila Jackson Lee, Democrat out of Texas. I'm not saying she's not doing nothing, y'all. We just hadn't seen it yet, y'all. But we wanted to work on HR 40, but that's another bill for another conversation, right? So this is the COVID-19 Delivery Act. This bill directs the Federal Emergency Management Agency. This is FEMA, the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, and the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, to support COVID-19 vaccination programs. It says to assist state and local government with vaccination efforts. So yeah, she wants to manage the vaccine delivery, set up vaccination centers, design communication systems and software applications, develop a public education program on vaccine safety and availability. So this is Sheila Jackson Lee, Democrat out of Texas. We know who she is. HR 937, Tech to Save Moms Act, Tech to Save Moms Act. This is Representative Eddie Bernice Johnson, Democrat out of Texas. Tech to Save Mom Act. This bill supports the use of technology to improve and address disparities in maternal health and outcomes. So this is Representative Johnson, Democrat out of Texas, HR 937. HR 938 is the Wildland Firefighter Recognition Act. This is Representative LaMalfa, Doug LaMalfa. He's a Republican out of California. This bill requires the Office of Personnel Management to develop a distinct wildland firefighter occupation series. Y'all, I didn't know what that was. I just wanted to look it up because I just wanted to know. He says, this is his statement. He says, each year, thousands of firefighters risk their lives to protect our forests and property from wildfire destruction. It says, despite their dedication, federal agencies call them wildland technicians or forestry technicians, vague terms that don't reflect the scope of their job. The Federal Wildland Firefighter Recognition Act changes federal law to name these first responders wildland firefighters. It's a recognition that they have dutifully earned. It says when a disastrous wildfire strikes, wildland firefighters put it out, and they deserve our utmost respect. So this is giving them the recognition and title that they deserve. So that is HR 938. HR 939 is the CAR Act, the CAR, C-A-R-R Act, LaMalfa again. It's a Republican out of California. This bill exempts wildlife mitigation activities conducted within 300 feet of a road from all laws governing environmental review of proposed agency actions or protection of endangered or threatened species. You know, when I see legislation in one category and so specific like his legislation, you know, it just shows you where more than likely his support is coming from. You know, this is California where they are plagued with wildfires, but there's more than likely a lot of support for his candidate, for his elected position. There's resources, I'm sure, from all kinds of organizations because he is championing their causes. So this is what it takes, y'all, for us to get to Congress. We got to be on the same page together, and they got to know we're a force to be reckoned with. And that's what I see with when I see certain legislators be so specific about why they're in Congress. They didn't just land or end up in Congress. They're intentional about why they're in Congress. HR 940, LaMalfa again, clearing lines along the Electrical At-Risk Zones Act. This bill revises requirements related to vegetation management practices and forest management activities. This bill redefines hazard trees as trees that come within 50 feet rather than 10 feet as under current law of an electric power line. So yeah, he is specific about forestry, wildfires. So there's truly probably a lot of support around him. LaMalfa, y'all, HR 940. He's a Republican out of California, y'all. Let's dive into the Senate bills. I think we're going to make it, y'all. We're going to make it. I know I've been talking a lot today. I got stuck on Nina Turner and I got stuck on Providence, Rhode Island, but we're going to catch up, y'all. Senate Bill 496. Senate Bill 496 is the Student Loan Tax Relief Act. Yes, Lord. Senator Menendez, Robert Menendez, Democrat out of New Jersey. This bill modifies tax provisions allowing an exclusion from gross income for income arising from discharges of student loan debt after January 31, 2020. This includes loans for post-secondary educational expenses, private education loans, and loans made by tax-exempt education organizations. So this bill is, any kind of student loan debt relief, I'll take it. And I'm sure many of us will take it. Senate Bill 496, y'all. Law school was no joke. No joke for me, y'all. But I'm glad to have that degree. Glad to have JM behind my name, and feel more than prepared to serve you in the United States Senate. So I'll take it, y'all. All that comes with it. Senate Bill 497 is the American Fisheries Advisory Committee Act. This is Senator Sullivan, Dan Sullivan. He's a Republican, y'all, Republican out of Alaska. This bill directs the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to establish the American Fisheries Advisory Committee to advise on an existing grant program to address the needs of fishing communities, optimize economic benefits by building and maintaining sustainable fisheries, and increase opportunities to keep working waterfronts viable. So this is Senator Dan Sullivan. He's a Republican out of Alaska, y'all. Senate Bill 498. Senate Bill 498 is a bill to amend Title 54 United States Code to limit the authority to reserve water rights and designating a national monument. This is Mike Lee, Senator Lee, Republican out of Utah. Says this bill prohibits the president in designating a national monument from reserving any implied or expressed water rights associated with it. It says water rights for an associated national monument may only be acquired in accordance with the laws of the state in which the water rights are to be located. So this is water rights. This is Senator Mike Lee, Republican out of Utah. We got a couple more, y'all. I think we can get these couple more in before we head out. This is Senate Bill 499, Improving Health Insurance Affordability Act of 2021, Improving Health Insurance Affordability Act of 2021. This is Senator Shaheen Jeanne. She's a Democrat out of New Hampshire. This is her legislation to improve access to health care by lowering premiums and deductibles for low and middle income families. She says the Improving Health Insurance Affordability Act would expand coverage for more than 4 million Americans who are currently uninsured and reduce healthcare costs for millions of additional individuals who already have coverage, which is especially critical given the COVID-19 pandemic. So this is Senator Shaheen. She is a Democrat out of New Hampshire. So we made it, y'all. One more. Senate Bill 500 is to stop marketing and revealing the Wearables and Trackers Consumer Health Data Act. So this goes to all of you that's wearing these, what are they, Fitbits and all the little mechanisms on your wrist, these wearables. This is Bill Cassidy. He's a Republican, Senator Bill Cassidy. He's a Republican out of Louisiana. It says this bill restricts the commercial use of identifiable personal health information derived from a smartwatch or similar consumer devices. It says specifically an entity that collects personal health information from consumer devices may not transfer, sell, or otherwise allow domestic entities to access such information if the purpose is to increase profits or generate commercial value. It says, however, the bill sets out certain exceptions to this prohibition including where the consumer provided informed consent or where the information is necessary for specified business transactions. So y'all be careful with these watches that's tracking you and your steps and y'all whatever health information you put in there. Be careful, y'all. If you're giving them informed consent, are they able to sell your information? What are they doing with this very specific information about your health? It says, furthermore, an entity that collects personal health information derived from consumer devices may not allow foreign entities to access such information unless there are certain privacy and security protections in place. It says, in addition, any personal health information derived from a consumer device and received by healthcare providers, health plans, or their business associates is considered protected health information and thus subject to applicable federal privacy standards governing its use and disclosure. See, does this not even exist already? So do you whatever information you're sharing, since this legislation was introduced just recently, what does that mean? That means that you may be giving away your information and there's no laws to protect you. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. Keeping up with Congress. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. This is why we do what we do, because we got to know the players. We got to know the game. We will not get reparations without negotiations, because there's a lot of other things that people want to see happen, and they may give us our reparations. They may put their name on as a co-sponsor on this federal legislation that I am going to introduce. But we're going to have to give them something. So let's be mindful of the players, the game, because this is politics, y'all. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy. I will see you back here tomorrow at 5:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on YouTube. I'm going to go over to the Clubhouse and talk to those in the Clubhouse space and catch up over there for a few minutes. But if you have not gone to the website, please do make a donation. Y'all been trying to give y'all a little break. I know these past months, it's the summer. You got kids going back to school. Everybody's trying to, recalibrate from COVID. But we got a whole race to win. And we're going to get on the other side of what's plaguing us. We got a whole race that we got to win. So go to the website, do what you can. No donation is too small. Make a contribution, y'all. Keeping Up with Congress. I will see you back here tomorrow, same time, right here on YouTube. Coming over there in just a second, Clubhouse. Thank you for tuning in for Keeping Up with Congress. I am Tamara Johnson Shealy, your candidate for the United States Senate. I'm a progressive Democrat that believes that reparations will make America great. It is time that we bridge the divide in this country. Please go to the website. That's tamara4georgia.com. www.tamara, Georgia spelled out.com. Please join me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for Keeping Up with Congress.